Okay, so today's lesson is more subtraction, but this time it's about subtracting across zeros. And what that means is when I'm having to subtract 300 minus 278. So that's when I have nothing that I can borrow. 0 minus 8, I can't do that. So I need to go next door and borrow, right? Well, there's nothing from there, so I have to go even more next door to borrow from there. So when we have to do things like that, to go all the way across, we call it subtracting across zeros. Now, there are two ways that we can do this. This is the traditional method right here that I'm going to show you. Here's the first way. First, we go, okay, well, I need to redistribute everything here. So that 3 is going to turn into a 2. That way, this 0 here can become a 10. But wait a second. This 0 here also needs to become a 10. So I need to cross off this 10 and make it a 9 so that this 0 can become a 10. Now I can solve. Now the reason I have to do it like this and the reason this turns into a 9 is this. So let's say here is 300. 1, 2, 3. I cannot break these apart. But somehow I'm supposed to take 278 out of it. So what I have to do is, okay, I'm going to trade in one of these hundreds right here. I'm going to take it away. I'm going to trade it in for 10 tens. Because 10 tens is 100. Well, now I can start taking the tens out. Cool. But I still have some ones that I need to take out too. Well, I don't have any of the ones here. So now, from these 10 that I have, one of them is going to need to go out and be traded in for 10 ones. Now I can do it. So I traded in 100 for the 10 tens. I took one of the 10s out to get 10 ones. So now I have 2 hundreds, 9 tens, and 10 ones. This still equals 300. It's just broken up in a different way now so that I can start taking things out. So when I'm crossing things off like this, that's pretty much what I'm doing, breaking these apart. So this is one way to do it. Here's the second way to do it. Once again, I have 300 minus 278. Now, this time, all I have to remember is the ones place will always have a 10. The ones place will always be the last one because it never gets anything taken out of it. It's always getting it. So it's always going to have a 10. The rest of it is going to go down 1. Well, instead of, remember when I was saying when it's like 185 minus 72? I'm pretty much doing like the 18 minus 7. I'm not going to redistribute because it's the same thing. It's kind of like this too. If I see this as 30, I can just turn it into 29. Make it 1 less than 30. And then this guy becomes a 10. 2, 9, 10. 2, 9, 10. I'm getting the same end result, but this kind of, I would go there maybe a little bit quicker. In some subtraction, you have to do it like this. But when the option arises, you can do it just like this, where you just make it 1 less. If this were 3,000, I would have done 399. And we'll have an opportunity to get an example like that too, okay? So in all, 10 minus 8 is 2. 9 minus 7? 2. 2 minus 2? 0. So my answer is 22. So I have my two ways. I can just cross off everything before the ones place and make it one less and just give the ones a 10. Or I can redistribute and do it very meticulously, bit by bit. It's your choice. I always will show you more than one strategy, and it is your choice how you're going to use them and which ones you want to use. So let's practice. Here we go. Number 1. 600 minus 177. So let's try boxing it out. What if I just looked at it as a 60? If I take 1 away from 60, what do I have? 59. So I'm going to cross off that 60 and I'm going to make it 59. Now this 0 here becomes 10. 10 minus 7?
3.
9 minus 7?
2.
5 minus 1?
4.
4. Now, here's how I would do it the other way. 600 minus 177. This 6 would become a 5, so that this 0 could become a 10. This 10 will become a 9, so that this 0 will become a 10. You see, I still have my same numbers here. 5, 9, 10. 5, 9, 10. Let's do number 2. 1086 minus 728. Okay, well, do I have to go some zeros right now? No, this is just a normal subtraction. So, okay, 6 minus 8, can I do it? No. So I got to take this 8, make it a 7. Take this 6, make it a 16. I know my doubles facts, so 16 minus 8 is 8. 7, I can do that. 7 minus 2 is?
5.
And now, 10 minus 7?
3.
3. There we go, 358.
3.
Okay, what about number 3? 810 minus 638. So when I look at this is pretty close to being all zeros.
Yeah.
I know I can't take 8 from 0, so I'm going to have to borrow from this. And when I borrow from that, that's going to turn into a 0. And I can't take 3 from 0, so I'm going to have to borrow from here. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do the box it out. 81, what's 1 less than 81? 80. Okay, so let's see here. Is this going to make sense? Is this going to work for me if I just make it to 80?
No.
No, because I have to do it 2 times. So if I make this guy a 7, then this guy becomes
9. 10.
an 11. Now I can give to this guy. So this guy now will become a 10. So this guy can come a 10. So technically taking this down 1 less to make it 80. Well, 7 here in the 10's 7 and then the 10. Technically that could be 80. But this is when you kind of have to use the first method. It's the only way it really will work. So now I can do 10 minus 8.
10 minus 8 will be 2.
Now I can do 10 minus 3.
7.
And now I can do 7 minus 6. So the key here is I still use the same strategies, but I have to remember I'm adding 10 to whatever is there. So there's a 1 here. That means it became an 11. So don't make the mistake of just being super quick to do it and then making that mistake. Okay, let's try number 4. 3,304 minus 1,000 137. All right, I'm going to size it up. Let's see here. I know I can't take 7 from 4, and there's nothing over here to borrow it from. I know I can't take 3 from 0, and already I'm trying to borrow next door. So I'm going to have to start here at this 3, aren't I? I can do this 3 minus 1, no problem. So I'm going to have to start here. This will become a 2, so that this will become a 10. Now, this will become a 9, so that this will become a 14. Once again, I could try to box it out and just turn this 30 into 29, but I feel like I might make some mistakes there because it's not at the front. I'm not going to end in a 10. It makes it a little harder. So this is why this first way is still important to know how to do. 14 minus 7, doubles facts there, I know that. 7. 9 minus 3,
6.
2 minus 1,
1.
and 3 minus 1.
2.
Very nice. Okay, number 5. 1001. Uh-huh. 868 minus 868. So, once again, this is pretty much like doing across the zeros, except there's a 1 on the end. So, I'm going to be a little daring, and I'm going to try the second way. I know that the ones place will always have the 10 in it. I also know that in this case, the ones place has a 1 already there. So I'm not turning that 1 into a 10. I'm turning that 1 into an 11. So I'm remembering that. But the rest of this, 100 turns into 99. And then this 1 turns into an 11. So now 11 minus 8.
3.
9 minus 6.
3.
9 minus 8.
1. 1 minus 0.
Okay. Do we understand how I did this? Okay. Because even if I were to look at it this way, the 1 would become a 0, so that this could become a 10. This would become a 9, so that this could become a 10. But then this would become a 9, so that this could become an 11.
Wow.
There's a lot of sharing and breaking things apart and putting them back together. All right, last one together, number 6. 4,000 minus 1,698. All right, I got a bunch of zeros. So I'm going to even take my finger, physically cover the ones place, so I know I'm not dealing with that right now. That's got its own stuff. All I'm looking at is 400. So 400 take away 1 becomes 399. And now I see the ones place is left. That becomes a 10. Now I can do it. 10 minus 8. 9 minus 9. 0. 9 minus 6. 3. And 3 minus 1.
2.
There we go. So I know I've said this already, and I'm going to keep saying it because it's that important to me. The biggest thing that will get you is forgetting to maybe change that 10 into a 9. Because instead of doing 9 minus 7 and getting 2, I did 10 minus 7 and I got 3. And when I'm grading work and I see 433 instead of 423, so don't make those careless mistakes, guys. The most important part of this is staying organized. If you can't see what you're doing, you're going to have a hard time answering it. So make sure you space things out and that you slowly go through it. Okay? It's awesome when we get confident and excited that we can understand something, but then that could also be what gets us in trouble, because when we're super confident and we start going fast, that's when a mistake's gonna happen. So always make sure that you are doing the redistribution first for everything. Don't start solving it until everything has been changed. Now, when something like this, you have to do it bit by bit, because I can work my way back. But when I have all those zeros, I need to get them done out of the way first, and that's it. Okay? Sound good?
Yes.
Cool.